Hi, I'm here with Sean Stannard-Stockton, the CEO of Tactical Philanthropy Advisors. Welcome, Sean.
Hey Brian, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. We're here at the Social Venture Partners International Conference in Dallas, and I'm just going to ask you a few questions about your experience here. It's really interesting to have you with your impact and your ideas of tactical philanthropy as an outsider, not in a colleague of Social Venture Partners International. And my first question to you would be, what do you see the critical mass? What could this organization reach together? Where do you see the vision of something that they can accomplish through this powerful network that they've created?
Sure. So, the big story I think in philanthropy right now is the fact that 13% of charitable giving is coming from private foundations, and 82%, $250 billion a year, is coming from individuals, right? And those individuals, for the most part, aren't particularly well versed or educated in how philanthropy works and how to make their charitable giving as effective as possible. And so SVP represents, I think, maybe the most successful individual donor education, collaborative program. 2,000 individual donors across the country who are doing educated, impactful philanthropy. So the SVPI is sitting on kind of an intellectual property that about how good giving works, and so I think being able to spread that information to people outside the organization is a massive opportunity to really affect a lot of charitable dollars.
Definitely, and they're right on their way to make that happen as well. Also, I'm curious to hear from your perspective, coming from the Bay Area, some innovations or something that really excites you that's within this philanthropy, social entrepreneurship sector, and how it's evolving. Just any insight on that?
Sure. Well, as somebody that advises individual donors and who also interacts with lots of institutional foundations, I'm always intrigued by ways that we can capture the information or the knowledge of the professional grant maker and transfer it to individual donors. So one thing that's new, a project in the San Francisco Bay Area, is called Philanthropedia. The website is myphilanthropedia.org. And what they're actually doing is surveying professional program officers at foundations and capturing their recommendations of what the best organizations are in various domains like education or San Francisco homelessness or whatever it might be, and then aggregating that information so that an individual donor can go on and find out who are the best organizations, not ranked by overhead expense ratio or other kind of simplistic financial numbers, but ranked by the due diligence of experts.
Wow. So it kind of aggregates the most relevant information in an easy way so people can reach that.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm sure you've heard of Yelp that does reviews of restaurants and now everything else. Well, there's another site called Great Nonprofits that is very much a Yelp for nonprofits. Consumer reviews being, any volunteers, somebody who's received services, staff members, whatever it might be to write a review. Philanthropedia is similar, but they're surveying experts, and there's a lot of value in both.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. As CEO of Tactical Philanthropy, what are different agendas that you're pushing, that relate to the SVPI network that you like to share? Like where do your specific agenda items align in terms of, goals and deliverables for the future?
Right. So our firm is unlike most other philanthropy advisory firms in that many philanthropy consultants are experts in certain domain areas. So we have a number of PhDs in education, and we're the education advisors. And if we really understand education. We are philanthropy advisors. We're helping people survey the field of philanthropy and understand how to interact with it. And so rather than being experts in environment or poverty, whatever it might be, it's our job to find, locate those resources and bring them to our clients. One of the ways that we can do that is by working with SVP chapters. SV2, the SVP chapter in Silicon Valley, right in our neck of the woods, I think of them as due diligence experts, right? They have vetted, high-performing, growing organizations that they're providing extra support to beyond the grant. That's a hugely valuable resource for us to be able to recognize some of those organizations, at least as a starting point, and bring those to some of our clients.
So that collaboration, makes both the organizations, reach their goals maybe possibly more effective and quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right.
Is there any message that you like to offer, just on your mind, that's really keeping you up at night? Anything that you just would like to say at this time?
Sure. So the two sessions I'm speaking at here, one is on social media and philanthropy, and one's at the cross-sector opportunities for social venture partners. To me, they're in many ways about the same thing, which is how can SVP spread the knowledge that it has to other donors, right? So that you have more money going to impact. Social media tools are one way to spread that knowledge, right? To share what's going on, and things like a video, just like we're doing today. And then thinking about that really strategically, I'm really intrigued by the Rhode Island SVP chapter's new social enterprise fund, where they're effectively creating a fund where the nonprofit investees of the fund are the grantees of SVP Rhode Island, which gives them a vehicle to raise money from other donors and put into those organizations. So you can see, in very tangible ways, that the SVP knowledge or due diligence can be bundled up and offered to other donors.
For sure. Is there any off the top of your head any barriers that are just apparent that you think that this organization is going to come up against, that they might be prepared for? Anything that we're changing culture. We're changing the idea of traditional things we've done for decades. What is something that you see calling out as a barrier to entry?
Well, I don't know if I'd call it exactly a barrier to entry, but I think of venture philanthropy as one spot along the social investment spectrum, and it's most appropriately geared to early stage ventures. Doing kind of beyond the grant assistance to well-established organizations is not always in the best interest of the organization. But for early stage ventures, it's a great concept. I think that donors at large, while they're attracted to early stage organizations, are now becoming more and more attracted to effective organizations, and that may very well not be an early stage venture, because it's only once you've grown and matured and put systems in place that you begin to be able to demonstrate your effectiveness. So I don't think of it as a barrier so much as encouraging SVP to recognize the niche which it's focused in, which is working with early stage organizations, and recognizing that that is not where all donation dollars should or do go. But it's a wonderful way to engage most donors when they first enter the sector, because I think it's easiest to understand early stage ventures and to see the work that they're doing and to get really inspired by it. But I think that you may very well see people move up the social investment spectrum and start investing in more mid-tier, large national organizations that are outside of the SVP model.
Interesting. Just so that we have it, could you just name your website so that anybody who wants to get more of this great content, where they would go? And just thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. So it's tacticalphilanthropy.com, which is the daily blog, and then I write the column for the Chronicle of Philanthropy once a month. And tacticalphilanthropy.com is also the website for Tactical Philanthropy Advisors, the philanthropy advising firm.
Okay, go check it out. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.